Is it a bad throw by Goff and a great catch by Cephas?
I mean, it wasn't a great throw.
As he caught the ball, which was still freakish as hell, he went and dunked it like the Vince Carter in the arm, the whole arm in the rim type thing. His head was damn near at the goalpost.
What was the overall vibe of the coaching staff in this first practice?
We're gonna make practice fun and lighthearted, but this is business.
We got our old Detroit Lions beat reporter,
Man.
Kory Woods, joining us. He was there all day today. He saw Cephas Moss, our guy Imani Warrior, well, Spencer's guy Imani Warrior. Spinny's got him ranked 81 overall. I do have a question though about that the pass that Cephas did catch from Goff today. I want to know, like, I got the video. Is it a bad throw by Goff and a great catch by Cephas, or a great throw and catch by both Cephas and Goff? I'm just curious. There's the catch right now. Bro. Dog. That's a dog. One more good. Here's one thing too, like people could say like, yeah, you got to wait till you get the pads on. But the situation like with that throw and catch, like you can play 7-on-7 football and a wide receiver can still show out and a cornerback can still show out. Like you can still do your job at the cornerback position in a 7-on-7 scrimmage. So like that ain't no wait till the pads get on. You gotta look nice and wait till we see the pads on.
It was, I mean, it wasn't a great throw. It was, he put it behind him. And people say, oh, it was back shoulder. I don't know about that. It looked like a little wobbly up there. But it was a great catch by Quintez Cephas. And we saw him do it last year in training camp, making spectacular catches, mossing people. So it is good to see him out there, to see him going back at it. I do feel for my dog AO though. That's a bad look off rip, but it's tough to see that from my boy. But it makes me happy to see that Quintez Cephas is healthy. He's out there making plays, making athletic plays like that, making plays on the ball. So good for him.
Yeah, so I was actually moving my equipment and everything when the catch was happening. So actually, as he caught the ball, which was still freakish as hell, he went and dunked it on the goalpost with like the Vince Carter in the arm, the whole arm in the rim type thing, and then the ball flew past several writers' heads. He could have almost knocked us out. But I mean, his head was damn near at the goalpost.
That's the athleticism we need to see. We see him going up and making catches like that, so it's just a beautiful thing, to see that. Outside of that Quintez Cephas catch, what would you say is your biggest takeaway from this first day of training camp with the Lions?
I just think the biggest takeaway from today is that everybody there is vibing. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody was happy to be there. It was more so like a light workout. I mean, the practice started at like 8:30 and they were done by 10 o'clock. So they didn't really go through too much. It was almost like a walkthrough. They weren't in full pads. They were just it's like a dress rehearsal. The quarterbacks looked far more comfortable than they did this time last year, especially Jared Goff. You see his confidence and his confidence out there. He knows that this is his team. Tim Boyle looks significantly better than he did in mandatory mini camp and OTAs. Still not that. I'm not even going to touch David Blau. I'm just going to leave that one alone. Yeah, the guys look pretty good. Everybody looked pretty good, and everybody looked pretty in shape. Jeff Okudah, I know that's one guy that everybody is looking forward to seeing what he can do this year. Basically missed most of his rookie year, missed all of his sophomore season here. So now this is really going to be his real second season with the Lions, per se. So, his confidence is there. If you go on Woodward Sports, I'll drop the clip of some things that he said. And everybody's really upbeat. I think the one thing, and I'm going to let you guys get a question in, the one big thing that really had me a pause for concern is something I wrote about on Woodward Sports, and it was about Josh Pascal and his injury. He just got moved to the active pup list, and he had injury concerns coming out of college. He had injury concerns. Well, he had an injury that kept him out of mandatory minicamp, a lower extremity injury. Now today, they said that it was a sports hernia, and the thing is, the sports hernia was not the reason that he practiced. So it's like, okay, what's going on with Pascal? So I would say that would be my big observation, is that Josh Pascal is not suiting up, and the Lions have 3 guys they've taken in this year's draft that are all coming off injuries.
Yeah, that's a bit of a concern of mine as well that I've been bringing up this week is, you have the injury of Pascal, who has the whole situation with the hernia. But that was something that happened in college. If it happened in college, it should have been healed by now or at least done some type of like surgery on. And if it did heal, like, it's re-aggravated, that's a bad sign. You had the Levi Enrique pick last year as well, dealing with his issues. But I wanted to ask you spoke on Jeff Okudah. You were actually there last year, throughout all training camp. Did he look promising? Like, did he look good or like something that you were hyped about headed into that last season?
He looked like he had his head on his shoulders. I mean, you also got to think about this. And Jeff Okudah kind of alluded to this today he kind of threw Matt Patricia under the bus again today.
Yeah.
He was just basically saying, like, coming out of Ohio State, he was a little bit naive coming into the NFL and even in his first year here. So he said now he still is kind of like he's understanding things a lot more. And I thought last year he looked a lot better in preseason, but we didn't even get to see him have a whole season of progression. It got cut out in week 1.
So we're talking about injuries and stuff like that, and we know that there was a lot of injuries dealt with on the offensive line last year with Frank Ragnow, with Taylor Decker, with other guys like that. How did the big guys look today? Because that's an important part of this year. Everybody's talking about how great this offensive line could be. Did those guys come in? Did they look healthy? What was going on with them?
All those guys look pretty healthy, look in great shape, especially Taylor Decker. Taylor Decker, I mean, he's a big guy, but he still looks like he's in pretty good shape. I want to say he maybe looked like he lost a couple of pounds. I could be wrong on that. Maybe my eyes are playing tricks on me, but the offensive line looked good. I just want to say I don't want to put too much on it because they weren't in full pads. So
yeah.
once it was like I said, it was like a walkthrough. So once they get to that next level, then I'll be like, okay, this guy looked like this guy looked like that.
One more thing, we'll get to break, and if you want, we have you sit through break or you get going too, because I know it's just a walkthrough today. But did Goff have a favorite receiver today in the 7-on-7s during like that portion of the practice?
I didn't see a favorite target of his. It was like they were just going through the motions today. I mean, Goff didn't really do anything too significant. I mean, none of them really did anything of significance as far as the quarterbacks, but I would say that Tim Boyle looked a lot better. Like, I'm like, okay, because what I liked on Boyle was just his passes looked a lot more crisp, and he was made better decisions on escaping the pocket and trying to scramble.
For sure. The real TB12 coming out there making plays. the Detroit TB12. One last question before we go to break here. What was the vibe of the coaching staff? Because we know, Dan Campbell, he has a lot of pressure on him this season to produce a winner because not a lot of people were happy with that 3-win season last year. Was it Dan Campbell business as usual, going crazy, being excited? We saw the interviews you had where he shouted you out, said he liked you.
That's dope.
That is really dope, by the way. But what was the overall vibe of the coaching staff in this first practice?
Business as usual.
Okay.
I mean, those guys last year, I don't want to say last year the coaching staff came off as nervous. I believe they came off as confident, but I also believe that they came off like they had so much on their shoulders of trying to change the culture in Detroit and make this a place where guys like, hey, this is not the SOL, same old Lions. This year and this vibe today was like, we know who we are. We know what we're going to do. We're confident in that, and we're going to go coach. And that's what the vibe felt like. It felt like this is we're going to make practice fun and lighthearted, but this is business.
For sure.